Hello everyone, your host Seth the Programmer, and today I'm bringing you an all-new analysis and theory on what if Goku had his potential unlocked by the old Kai and became Mystic or Ultimate Goku. For this video, we're going to say Goku simply had his potential unlocked at the same time Gohan did in the Buu Saga of Dragon Ball Z. Now, this topic is extremely difficult to do for a few reasons. Yes, it is not as easy as you think, and I'm going to explain. There is no known multiplier for the Mystic or Ultimate transformation or boost or unlock potential, and there's no known strength level given for Gohan after he trains with the Z Sword beyond basic assumptions. Like, for an example, what an assumption would be, some people think he's stronger than Goku because Goku couldn't lift the Z Sword and Gohan could. However, they don't realize that certain stats can be higher than another, and it doesn't mean you're a more powerful fighter. Like, for example, did you know Goku, after he landed on Namek to fight Captain Ginyu, that Goku was faster than Captain Ginyu, but Ginyu was stronger than Goku. He was more powerful. So, you can do certain training that will hone a certain stat beyond what someone who's even more powerful than you can handle, but it doesn't mean you can beat them in a fight, if that makes sense. Although, I mean, it's still a good feat. I mean, it does say, hey, so maybe he really is as strong as Goku or stronger than Goku. However, you can only assume, if that makes sense. You know, I would like to think that he's really that strong, but I don't want to make too much heavy assumptions and leave too many gaps in logic. We're just not doing that. 2. The potential differences between Gohan and Goku are incalculable. So we can't even scale using Gohan's personal experience using the form. Now, what I mean by this is Gohan and Goku, the difference between their potentials, because the Mystic or Ultimate unlock is unlocking all of your potential. However, it's literally impossible to calculate the difference in potential between Gohan and Goku. And I mean, there's just so many ways to go about this topic, and there's almost absolutely no solid answer. I mean, we could do some crazy calculations to find Gohan's power, then we could find the difference between Gohan and Goku's maximum potentials, and scale Goku's hypothetical Mystic form and how strong it would be. An example, you could scale how strong future Trunks got from using the Z Sword, and then say him and Gohan are very similar, so they have similar potential. Then find out how much stronger Gohan would have gotten. And you can also find the potential between Goku and Gohan by looking at the Namek Saga, when Krillin and Gohan both have their potentials unlocked. And by the end of their potentials being unlocked, Gohan was at 200,000 and Krillin was at 75,000. And then you could just kind of put Goku in between both of them, or some bullshit, and then say Gohan is like 25% more potential than Goku or something. But like I said, that's just all inaccurate bullshit. It just doesn't work. Maybe for like a power level video, if you're making like a power level video, that might work. If you're really going balls out and you really want to find an accurate level for Gohan, that might work for you. But to find out a solid number for how much stronger Goku would look at, we have to look at the facts. Facts are this. Gohan's normal potential isn't that fucking massive in comparison to Goku like people think it is. What people don't understand is that Gohan has two pools of power or potential. He has his normal base power, and he has hidden potential that is accessed through emotions, etc. Now, like I said, Gohan's normal potential isn't too crazy in comparison to Goku's. It's his hidden potential that is. An example, despite training with Goku for 3 years straight for the Android Assault, Gohan was still inferior to Goku. Gohan actually didn't even catch up to Goku until around 4 years of intense training after the Frieza arc in the Hyperbolic Time Chamber. Now, do not get shit twisted. Gohan does have more base potential than Goku, just not a catastrophic amount like people think. Gohan's real potential comes from his emotions, and the thing about Gohan's emotions is that they raise his power by an unquantifiable amount that seems to randomize itself to suit the plot at hand. Like this, for example, the first time he gets enraged, he goes from a toddler tripping over his own shoelaces to smashing through fighters that can obliterate moons. Then later on, it decreases heavily, going from like around Namek Goku level, give or take, to second form Frieza level, which would be like around 10 times difference, give or take. I mean, everyone has their own opinions, but I mean, it's not like 100 times or anything. Or when he gets pissed at Nappa, it doesn't even increase his power hardly at all like it did versus Frieza or versus Raditz. It doesn't even increase it anywhere near times 10. I don't even think it was a times 2 boost. And despite it going like way beyond 10 times when he fought Frieza, despite him being equally pissed off in both situations. Now, I love Gohan, but his power-ups are inconsistent as fuck. Like, let's be real. Now, how does this tie into Mystic Goku? Well, you see, the Mystic Ritual brings out your potential to its limits, meaning it'd bring out Gohan's enraged potential as well as his normal potential. However, Goku doesn't really have the same potential Gohan does. He doesn't have that second pool, and it's impossible to calculate the differences in potential without some huge gaps in logic or serious opinions being thrown about like we discussed earlier. So what we can conclude is Goku's mystic form is far inferior to Gohan's in terms of potential, so we can't use Gohan as a basis to count Goku, meaning we have to find an entirely new method in general. So I found a somewhat cool way to do this that most people probably agree with. Now remember, for Gohan, this is entirely different because his potential is not normal. It's an outlier in comparison to the other potentials. But I believe that Super Saiyan 3 is the limit of Goku's potential, so hear me out on this. Super Saiyan 3 is a form that constantly drains the body, and it exerts your body to its maximum abilities, much how Frieza's body would drain from exerting his maximum potential, etc. Now, it's actually implied in some other media, like the guides and the games, that Super Saiyan 3 draws out every last drop of Saiyan potential. It's the last legitimate form of Super Saiyan. Everything else is like an adaptation, and not necessarily natural. As Whis even stated to Vegeta, even if he trained his entire life, he'd never understand how to reach Super Saiyan God's power, or etc. Meaning Super Saiyan God and beyond are limit breakers, something beyond yourself and your potential. However, Super Saiyan 3 isn't a limit breaker. Super Saiyan 3 is obtainable. It's the power within yourself. It's deep within yourself, and you have to pull it out, like Goku said. It's not beyond yourself to do this. Due to this, and due to the fact Mystic Gohan is logically far stronger than even Super Saiyan 3's, in example, Gotenks Super Saiyan 3, Gohan would shit on him, I think it's honestly very safe to say that Super Saiyan 3 would be the equivalent of a Saiyan's mystic form or ultimate form, unless they have special traits like Gohan or maybe a half-breed. Another cool thing to back this up is when Old Kai tells Gohan to transform into a Super Saiyan. However, instead, he unleashes his ultimate or mystic powers and is unable to transform. This perfectly highlights that this unlock grants you all your potential in one big box. Whether it be Super Saiyan, Rage, everything is included in the mystic form. It explains why Gohan, despite getting upset against Bootanks, didn't really raise his power, or why he couldn't go Super Saiyan and just end the fight right there. It was just all already there. Now let's get back to Goku, what you guys came for. I'm sorry for going on a tangent, but this is all important. You really have to go into detail for such like a vague and hard topic like this one. So Goku and Gohan have their potential unlocked, and Goku would realize how powerful Gohan is, and would probably wish him luck and send him off similar to how he did in the main story. Because, you know, Goku's like, I'm not going to be around forever, you know, I want the kids to do something. So honestly, he'd probably just send him off just like how he did in the original story. So Bootanks comes in, whoops Gohan's ass. Goku comes in, knowing he can't beat Bootanks, tries to fuse with Gohan and still fails, and would eventually end up fusing with Vegeta into Vegito, just like in the main story, honestly. Still, what would a Mystic Vegito look like? Would he be stronger? Now, in my opinion, Vegito would still more than definitely be stronger than Boo, as Goku is Super Saiyan 3 level in base, being multiplied by whatever level Potara gives to you. Although I do not think the fusion would be as effective as it was in main canon, simply due to the fact that in main canon the fusion was perfect. Goku and Vegeta were rivals in power and in spirit and got the maximum boost possible. Except here it just wouldn't be the same, because their powers would be greatly different. Could Mystic Vegito go Super Saiyan because half of his body wouldn't have its potential unlocked? How would it work? I mean, I have no doubt that even without Super Saiyan, he'd win, as Goku and Vegeta are still rivals spiritually, right? And Elder Kai was confident that an even less perfect fusion between Goku and Gohan, which would be even a greater difference in power, would shit on Bootanks with absolutely no difficulty. He even hinted that Goku and Gohan could become Super Saiyans after they fuse with each other, so I guess it's highly probable Mystic Vegito also could go Super Saiyan. Anyway, moving on, Mystic Vegito would beat up Boo, and history would repeat itself, and Kid Boo would wake up just like old times. Now this is where it gets interesting. Remember when Boo blew up Earth? Well, now, instead of Goku saying, Vegeta, we can't stop that, you know, and they try to dip out and run away, he'd jump in front of the attack and actually be able to deflect it, as he's just as strong as Kid Boo, or if not even stronger than a suppressed Kid Boo that tried to blow up Earth. Meaning all the Z-Fighters survive, Earth is spared, and so are the numerous planets that Boo went around destroying after that. Boo would more than likely be extremely interested in Goku, and Goku would probably have to take Boo head on right there. After seeing Goku deflect that attack in base form, Vegeta would probably be at a loss for words, thinking how the hell did Goku get so powerful? He might even go on the verge of another midlife crisis if he came to the conclusion that he was holding back and could beat him without even going Super Saiyan. Although I'm sure Goku would explain the whole thing to Vegeta when Vegeta been like, go Super Saiyan 3, I want to see it, or something. Goku would be like, I can't because I'm Mystic Goku now, or something, right? So Kid Buu and Goku would be equals here. However, there's definitely a difference between this fight and the original fight. Goku would have no stamina problem like he did before. In fact, as a Saiyan fights, their power and limits increased constantly. So eventually Goku would only get stronger and stronger as he fights Buu, so long as he doesn't take it too far and overexert himself with an energy attack or something. So logically, Goku could beat Buu, even if he did somewhat drag it out like he did as a Super Saiyan 3. And even if Goku did play it dumb and get beat by Kid Buu, Vegeta could step in and let Goku grab his bearings and gather his ki or whatever. However, not only Vegeta, but Gotenks and Gohan could also join as well. Just how Goku originally planned for them to fight Buu and join in to help when Vegeta said, we have a wish that we could ask for. Gohan and Gotenks together would be more than enough to either A, beat Buu, or B, buy Goku enough time to create a spirit bomb or gather his ki to finish him off. Either way, Kid Buu is defeated just like before, if not way easier and with less casualties. Now on to Dragon Ball Super. In Dragon Ball Super, some notable differences would be made, however, it's not too crazy. Mr. Satan wouldn't have broadcasted Buu's defeat to the entire world like he did through King Kai, although knowing him, he'd still find a way for him to convince people he beat Buu, so Goku would still receive the 100 million Zenny just like he did and everything would be dandy. Now, what really interests me would be how would Vegeta handle Goku having those mystic powers, and what would happen if Mystic Goku became a Mystic Super Saiyan God, or Ultimate Super Saiyan God. Now, Mystic Super Saiyan God Goku would be only around 400 times stronger than the original Super Saiyan God Goku, and it still wouldn't beat Beerus, unfortunately. Let me explain. Remember when Goku absorbed his God form into his base form, and remember how he can still use Super Saiyan 3? That Super Saiyan 3 with God essence in his base would be the equivalent of the initial Mystic God Goku that would fight Beerus, and well, that Goku was stuck changing Beerus' sheets and wearing an apron. So it wouldn't really change anything, let's be honest. How about after that? What about Goku Black? Would it be Mystic Goku Black? Would we see Ultimate Super Saiyan Rose? Could Goku have beaten Hit? Here's another cool thought. What if Old Kai unlocked Goku's potential after he became a god and his Whis training? What if the old Kai saw Goku and Vegeta getting their asses beat by Goku Black, and he's like, hold on, bring them here, and he unlocks both their potentials, and they go back to fight Goku Black? What kind of crazy multiplier would that stack onto the god form? How do you think it would work? Unfortunately, I can only imagine, and I do not have nearly enough time to explain everything to you guys. But let me know what you think down below. I love reading these theories. I read every single one of them. Anyways, hope you enjoyed. Hope you learned something. And other than that, till next time.